Hello, I'm Sarah Pesavento, LPGA golf instructor. In this video, we're going to talk about how to create more lag in your swing and give you some tips and keys on how to do this. So, many golfers that I've worked with that have taken lessons with me ask me, like, how can I get more lag? And it's a common term that's searched for when people are looking for golf tips because, we know that the pros have a lot of lag in the swing. And I'm going to go over what that means and then give you some tips on how to get more of that. So basically, lag is referring to, in the downswing, kind of maintaining this angle between the arms and the club shaft. And so when you come down and you hit the ball like with your hands ahead, so with the irons, we want to have a little more lag. And we're going to hit down on the ball, and we want that shaft leaning forward a little bit. So the pros, they hit their irons with the hands ahead and the shaft leaning forward. And, amateur golfers a lot of times have trouble with the irons because they're like scooping it too much. They cast the club and then they lose their lag. And so they have trouble compressing the ball and hitting it solid with the irons. So to get more lag in the swing, the first step is in your backswing. You want to have a good wrist hinge and a wrist set. Set the club with your wrists. And, assuming we have a good grip down in the fingers, when we swing back, we're going to hinge. And we're kind of creating an angle, looks like an L, about 90 degrees between the shaft and your left arm here. And so that's a good wrist hinge. Sometimes golfers in the backswing, they don't have a lot of hinge, so then it's like hard to create lag in the downswing. But basically, if you hinge correctly, we want to hinge at the wrist. And sometimes I see golfers like hinging at the elbow, and then they look kind of like this at the top. So definitely the first step to getting more lag is just to have a correct backswing with setting the club correctly with your hinge and your wrist angles. So we want to look like this about halfway back. Now, the wrist hinge will happen somewhere in the first 2/3 of the backswing. I don't really like to see people get to the top and then hinge, because you don't really see the pros do this. And they really hinge it. Some pros hinge early and some pros a little bit later, but usually by the first 2/3 of the backswing, that club is fully set. So once we're about halfway or 2/3 of the way back, now to get to the top, we're just going to turn and maintain these angles between the club shaft and our arms. Okay, so at the top, you want to feel like it's like a 90-degree angle between your right forearm and the club shaft. And then once we're in a good position at the top, we're going to swing down, okay, and maintain that angle as long as possible. But, the number one reason people lose their lag, given they made a good backswing, is they get to the top and they're trying to hit at the ball and they use their hands and wrists too much. And so in the downswing, we want to use our arms more than our hands and wrists. So our hands are hanging onto the club, but you want to swing your arms down and try to hold this angle. You want to feel like the end of the grip is pointed down towards the line of the ball and you're kind of pulling the handle down like this. Okay, so that's how you hold the lag. Okay, now if you can actually have too much lag if you over hinge, right? So it's not as common of a problem over hinging, but sometimes people over hinge and then they get to the ball and they have to try to flip to compensate. So it's hard to time that and it's kind of inconsistent. So we want to have the right amount of hinge in the backswing and look at the top, have that 90-degree angle. And then from there, we're going to pull the handle down. And now you're in a good position. You've held this lag. So this is the lag here. And then you're going to come down and you're going to hit with your hands ahead like that. So that's for the irons. And with the driver, the shaft would be a little more straight or even back a little bit. But the irons, you want to hit down, and that lag will help you compress the ball and hit better iron shots. So those are a few keys how to get some more lag in your swing, and especially in the downswing. I hope that helps your game. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks.